So you want definitive proof that Donald Trump won a debate. You're debating this, right? You don't know. Somebody said to you, oh my gosh, that debate was a train wreck. I don't really know who won. I guarantee you Donald Trump won that debate. And here's how I can tell you. First of all, Donald Trump dominated Joe Biden. What you saw as bullying, oh, he's being bullied. Well, you know what you do to bullies? You punch back. But Joe Biden had nothing to punch back with. So Trump interrupted. And people are out there going, oh, Donald Trump kept interrupting him. In 2016, in 2012, when Joe Biden was interrupting Paul Ryan during the vice presidential debates, the Democrats were ecstatic. Look at it, couldn't control. And you know what Republicans were complaining about? He kept interrupting Paul Ryan. Well, Paul Ryan's a putz. If somebody keeps interrupting you, you talk over him. You go, you're not going to interrupt me. I'll talk. You get ignorant, as my grandmother said. Boy, you go over him. You go over the top. You're not going to overtalk me. But Paul Ryan got overtalked. And Joe Biden got overtalked because Donald Trump was having none of it. Donald Trump was saying, I'm the leader of the free world. You can't handle this position. I guarantee you. And I'm not going to let you demagogue. So he just talked over him. He interrupted. He did exactly what you would do if you had nothing but disgust for your opponent. And you know what the Democrats did this time? They complained. Oh my God, I can't believe he talked over him like that. That's what Trump was supposed to do. But it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. Now, where do you start? I can dissect the debate itself for you, and I'm going to do that. But you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to prove to you that the Democrats know they lost, because post-debate, they didn't talk about winning. The first thing they talked about was no more debates. With that kind of behavior by Donald Trump, how dare we allow for second and third debates? Now, keep in mind, they didn't want Biden to debate in the first place. Nancy Pelosi, why are we even having presidential debates? Because that's what we do. That's what you let the public discern one person from the other. But no, Nancy Pelosi doesn't want Biden to debate. Captain Demento, no freaking way. But he had to debate. They prepped him. They got him pumped up with his drugs. They got him put full of steroids and Red Bull. And then they said, let's wire him up. They put the microphone. You could see the little thing in his arm and then the thing in his lapel. He wired him up. And Trump had already teased they're going to have to drug him up and they're going to have a handler. Maybe we should inspect them. Trump knew it. He baited them into it. And they still did it because they want to hide in plain sight. And they had everything they needed to win. No audience reaction, nothing. Because you know what the audience would have been if they had let Donald Trump have an audience. So they used the Chinese Wu flu as a reason for not having an audience. So the debate was set. All Biden had to do was get over the low bar of not looking stupid. And for the most part, he kind of did that. But if that's the measure, then why are we talking about it? Oh, I thought Biden was supposed to be an idiot. Biden was supposed to be stupid. He's demented. He didn't show any of that. Oh, he showed some, a couple of places, but it was no big deal because Donald Trump manhandled that little sissy. He flippity-floppied him all over the debate stage. And the Democrats hated it. And that's why after the debate, they didn't want any more debates. Then they sat on that for a while because they said, that's like him running. And it is like him running because what did Trump say after the debates? Did they say, oh, that was terribly mishandled. Chris Wallace was a horrible interviewer. He was completely against Donald Trump, which he was. And Trump didn't say, well, y'all have bad hosts or moderators. I don't want to go to the next, second, and third debate. Trump was like, bring it. Bring me the next debates, man. I'm King Kong up in this mug. So he didn't complain. Because he won. He was the champ that whooped the devil out of the challenger. And then the challenger's like, he don't want to fight no more. And the champ's like, no, let's do it again right now. We can do it right now. Trump crushed him. He crushed it. And I had people calling me, man, Kevin, I don't know what to think about debate. I don't know what to think. What do you mean you don't know what to think? You do know what to think. The Democrats were so afraid of Donald Trump, they didn't want to debate him the second and third time. Who wins and then goes, I don't want to fight again? That only happens in Rocky, okay? Where Apollo Creed goes, ain't gonna be no second fight, ain't gonna be no second fight. Yeah, me either, I don't want to fight, I don't want to fight. When you're the champ and you have whooped somebody's head the way Trump did, yeah, let's do it. In fact, let's add some debates. And the only thing Trump did to bait him was to say, let's check his cognitive ability, which is already in question. But Trump baited him and said, hey, look, I want to know this dude ain't on steroids. He's not sucking down some bang, right? And is he wired? Can we check him? And he was both of that, and Trump still let him get away with it. He didn't go frisk him after the fact. He knew he won. So this is why Donald Trump wanted to debate, but I got more. There's much more to this story. So I would ask you this question. What do you remember about the debate? What are you talking about? If you're a leftist, this is not political. Hey, YouTube, don't take this down. This is not political. This is strictly educational. This is me asking the public a question. I don't care whether you're independent, Democrat, Republican, unattached. I don't care. You could be one of the 1,000 different sexualities that Facebook claims you to be. This is for all of you. And I'll ask you this. What do you remember? What was the most memorable thing about Joe Biden that you remember? The fact that he didn't screw up as much as he might normally do. The fact that he didn't have a racial Tourette-like utterance, like black people stupid, black people stupid. What? Is that what you remember? Is that the way you're going to measure this debate? Look, if you got any common sense and you watch that debate, the whole debate, let me tell you what you probably remember. You remember Trump calling Biden out when he says, he's stupid or he's not smart. And Trump said, smart? You were the dumbest dude in your class. You graduated at the bottom. That's what you remember about that exchange. You remember Donald Trump telling Biden, you're an idiot. He didn't say it that way, but he pretty much said, you lie about your grades, you lie, but you don't even remember where you went to college, and you're an idiot. That's pretty much the first four, bam, a punch right in the face, in the throat punch. You remember that. Maybe you remember this. Maybe you remember Trump saying, you're about law and order. If you're so much about law and order, why don't any of the police unions endorse you? Who have you had from law and order who's endorsed you, Joe? Name just one. Now, why did Trump say that? Because he was reminding the voters that the unions usually vote for the Democrats. But these unions won't vote for Joe Biden. Why won't you talk about law and order, Joe Biden? Law and order, law and order, law and order. So before I go further into Trump, let me give you Biden's strategy. Biden's strategy was to call Trump a liar, okay, and then take credit for COVID. Wu flu. Joe Biden wanted people to believe that he was the truth teller and that he would have done better against the Chinese Wu flu. And Donald Trump destroyed him in every turn. First of all, Joe Biden says, you didn't bring any manufacturing jobs, and that had even leftists scratching their heads going, what's he talking about? Trump definitely brought manufacturing jobs, but Trump didn't leave it to chance. He says, I brought 700,000 manufacturing jobs. He goes, and not only that, your boss, baby black Jesus, said these jobs would never come back.
What magic wand do you have?
How dare you? And then I remind you that he said how stupid Biden was. So people are watching this going, well, that was a lie, Joe. So Joe had nowhere to go. There was no more mama's milk. Where are you going to go? Can't suckle. It's dry, Joe. So Joe decided he was going to go after Donald Trump, President Trump, based on a lie that he claims Trump said about the military. Now, you got a guy who's pro-military, giving more money to the military budget than any other president in history. Troops love him. And I could go on. And Joe Biden says, he called you people losers. And then what did Joe Biden do? He did what Joe Biden always does. Joe Biden decided, I'm going to use my son, Bo, I'm going to use him as my fodder for the campaign. So Joe Biden says, how dare you say that the military are losers? My son, as if Trump had said something about Joe Biden's son, and he didn't. But he goes, my son served in Iraq, and he was decorated, and he was attorney general when he got back. And Joe Biden wanted to play on the old Bo Biden card. Poor Bo. My son got back. He died of brain cancer. It was traumatic for me. Please vote for me because my son died from brain cancer. And he was a war hero, which he wasn't a war hero. I applaud him for serving, but Trump didn't even take the bait. Donald Trump said, oh, Hunter, because he was in the military. Why is it you're only talking about the good son? Let's talk about the bad son. Hunter, discharged from the military, from the Navy. He was discharged from the Navy and he goes, and Trump didn't even leave it at that. He goes, he was dishonorably discharged. No, he wasn't. And by the way, what's so funny about that is, how do you not get discharged from the Navy if you're doing coke? The only way that happens is if daddy's a VP or if daddy's a senator. So Joe Biden doesn't even realize that. No, he's not. He wasn't. I fixed that for him. But Trump didn't finish. He says, and not only that, he gets dishonorably discharged from the Navy, and he gets millions of dollars from the Russians. And he goes on and he's just beating it. And what does Joe do? This is how you know Trump won. All right, pay attention. He says, well, my son, he does have some issues. He didn't go back to Bo. No, he stayed on Trump's thread. Trump got him to get off of Bo and start talking about Hunter. So what did Joe do? Poor Hunter. Just like all of Americans, he suffers from, a terrible thing that many of us have gone through. Many of you at home, that's what Joe, many of you at home have been through this. I've never used a drug in my life. I can't relate to crackheads. I can't. So anyway, he goes on to talk about how he's overcome it. And you think that Donald Trump bought into the sob story of drug abuse and all that? The guy who's done more for opioid addiction than any other president? He didn't buy into it. You know what Donald Trump did? He says, yeah, well, really? How many of them get millions of dollars? How many of them get millions of dollars from the Chinese, from the Russians, and who knows where else? He jumped him. And finally, Chris Wallace has to come to his aid. Well, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about that later. That was all the help, because it doesn't matter what they were saying in his ear. That was butt kicking 101. And it was only the beginning. So think about that debate. Go back and look at it again if you want. I mean, if you're a Democrat and you like carnage, there's your train wreck. Joe Biden made no salient points against Donald Trump. All he did was reveal himself as a liar, because Donald Trump made the very same comment. How do you get dishonorably discharged from the Navy, have no job prospects, you've been to rehab, you marry your dead brother's widow, then you go sleep with your you go screw around with a pole dancer on your dead brother's widow, you don't pay your child support, and you get put on the board of a global company in oil and gas, and you have zero experience. Explain to the world, Joe, how that happens. Look at anything Trump said in that debate. Go back and look at it and watch what Joe Biden does. He goes for it every time Trump changes the subject. But Joe Biden goes for it. And then the aftermath. The media doesn't want Joe Biden to debate. Don't debate him again. It's not fair, man. It's only going to be more of the same. And Trump's like, I'll debate. I'm not running. Then you know what they did next, the media? They came out with polls and they showed Joe Biden wins the debate. Now, that flies in the face of the immediate polls that were released by Telemundo, who had Trump at 68 winning the debate, 32% not. This is the Latino population saying this. These are not people that are typical Trump voters. So Donald Trump won the debate hands down. And you know what he did? He manhandled Joe Biden. The left want to tell you that he bullied him. He interrupted him. He interrupted him when Joe Biden started lying. He made Joe Biden own up to the lies. He made Joe Biden have to get defensive. Joe Biden never went on the offensive where it lasted. He tried, but it never stuck. So I'll ask you again, what do you remember from the debate? Because I know what I remember. Many things that Donald Trump said are the most memorable quips. Name just one, Joe. Name just one. Hunter Biden accepting money. Donald Trump correcting the record on everything that Biden said. Every time he brought something up, Donald Trump corrected the record and said, you're a liar. What did he accomplish? He made Joe Biden look like the liar that he is. He made Joe Biden look stupid and essentially saying, you don't have the intellect to do this job. And he impugned Joe Biden's record. He says, I spent 47 months doing what you couldn't do in 47 years. What else did Donald Trump do? He owned up to Obamacare. Joe Biden wanted him to look at code. He goes, what could you have done faster? What could you have done better? When he was asked by Chris Wallace, he says, what's your healthcare done? And Donald Trump says, I've lowered the cost of prescription drugs. I got rid of the individual mandate. You can keep it was a symbolic move for you to keep, for people to be able to do pre-existing conditions. And Trump's like, what's symbolic? What do you mean? It was just symbolic. It's in play. In other words, I'm dismantling Obamacare. And oh, by the way, I said I was going to do it and I did it. Everything they said validated Trump. Go back and think about it subliminally. Now, other people go, well, Kevin, it's not going to resonate at the least common denominator voter. Oh, really? You don't think so? Then you have to explain to me the people writing to me telling me, hey, dude, you were right. Biden is a liar. Donald Trump is telling the truth. I mean, I'm not Rasmussen, I'm not Zogby, but I'll tell you this. I've been more right about it than any of them. I predicted in 2016 Trump was going to win, and I predicted in 2020 Trump is going to clean Joe Biden's clock. So I've been more right than any of the pollsters. And I'll tell you this, I'm right that Donald Trump won that debate hands down. I'll put it to you this way. Very few Republicans are upset about that debate. They may not like the style, but in terms of context and content, they got no problems. They know Trump held his own. They wish he would have answered differently on issues of race or something like that. Even I did. I said, I would have said this. But at the end, what did Biden get accomplished? Nothing. Nothing memorable, no quips, no nothing. So if you want to know who won the debate, I just told you, Donald Trump won the debate. And for those of you who still are, Kevin, I'm not sure what's going to happen, who's going to win in 2020, and in a few weeks or a few days or whatever it is now, I gave you the answer. Donald Trump's going to win. The same way the left wants you to believe that Donald Trump didn't win the debate, and I'm telling you that he did, is the same thing you're going to be saying on November the 3rd. Don't worry about the voters that are, the people that are, they're going to cheat. They cheat every election. What's new? They cheated in 2016. But I'll cover that in a different thing, because there are people who want to know, Kevin, how are you so confident that Donald Trump's going to win in 2020? So I'll do that as a separate video. Hey, thanks for your time.